Hello everyone, I am CRYPTOTAG and this is your channel for Apex Bitcoin and crypto news. And in this video, well, I'm sure you already saw the title, we're going to discuss my prediction on when Bitcoin will hit $1 million. Obviously, I think we're going to supersede that quite a bit. But before we jump into all that important stuff, I want to lead up to it. And I want to try my best to get everyone to follow along. So we're going to do something a little different in this video, because time is actually running out. And my main purpose is to look out for each and every one of you because I do care. So just know that this is coming from a good place, because I think there's a huge disconnect, unfortunately, of people that's missing out on this once in a lifetime opportunity. So this video, what we're going to do is I want you to just grab your favorite beverage and just sit back and listen. I'd prefer no ink pens, no notepads, just listen. Try to take everything in that I'm saying, because we're going to have some fun, but more importantly, we're going to break this down so hopefully every single person can understand why I'm saying what I'm saying, where I'm coming from, and the golden opportunity right before you. So what I'd love for you to do is find someone who needs to see this video. Maybe it's a spouse, maybe it's a friend. Hopefully it's someone who's never heard of Bitcoin before or cryptocurrency. Or maybe it's a skeptic. Or maybe it's someone who's very savvy and knows all this backwards and forwards. But just do your part and share this with someone that you feel truly needs to hear this. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to different groups of people. And we're going to lead all this up to why you need Bitcoin, why you need to try to get one whole Bitcoin. And ultimately, we're going to lead up into the price of the $1 million plus. Okay, so first, let me talk to the people who have never even heard of Bitcoin, or maybe have never heard of cryptocurrency, or are just super brand new to all of this. What I'm going to try to do is just simplify this to the max. Okay. I mean, obviously I could talk about this topic for hours, but think of it as digital gold. Okay. That's the simplest way for someone who's never heard of Bitcoin or knows much about it. Again, it's so much deeper than that. Of course, it's the blockchain technology behind it. But when I say sometimes the word blockchain, people's mind just shuts off. And I don't want to lose anybody. For the basic beginner, think of it as digital gold, right? Gold, what used to be important. Gold used to be what you owned to hedge against inflation. And you may have some gold right now, and that's fine. But the problem is, in 1971, the United States backed off the gold standard. So our US dollar is no longer backed by gold since 1971. So what have you been doing to protect against inflation since then? Or more importantly, what are you doing right now, currently, to protect against inflation? Because the sad truth of the matter is, as hard as you work, the paycheck you bring home is bleeding badly. And even if you think you're pretty smart and savvy, putting it maybe in a savings account or something that's earning you close to 5% interest, yes, that's helping. You're putting a few Band-Aids on the bleeding, but you're still losing. You're still fighting an uphill battle. And unfortunately, I know most of you are probably not even doing that much, because I know most of the people I talk to, they don't even have interest that they're earning on their money. I'm trying to simplify this as much as I can. With all the US money that's been printed in the last 3 years, it's more that's ever been printed in the history of the United States. So our money is bleeding badly. Inflation is running rampant, and the US dollar is unfortunately in decline. So you have to understand, you need to protect your hard-earned money. We need to try to protect the US dollar, right? And that's where Bitcoin comes in. As I was stating earlier, Bitcoin is like digital gold. Bitcoin has no inflation, and Bitcoin is going to protect your hard-earned assets. And it's going to do so much more than that for you, but that's just a simple start to hopefully whet your appetite so you're intrigued, and hopefully you continue to watch the video and pay attention closely to what I'm saying as I lead up into the $1 million price point. Okay, secondly, I'll talk to the skeptics. I can run around in circles like a dog chasing his tail, but I'm just going to make this short and sweet. Please keep an open mind, because time's going to pass no matter what, and there's nothing worse than getting left behind. So just keep an open mind, question everything, that's fine, but make sure you do your due diligence. Read the Bitcoin white paper. Understand the power of blockchain technology. Understand that Bitcoin is going to be the 7th technological revolution of the world, and it hasn't happened yet. It's coming soon. The last group of people I want to speak to, I don't want to like just lump you into, let's just call it the rich folks, but I want to make an important point here that I want the beginners to pay attention to, because nothing motivates people usually like money and wealth. Okay. Everybody wants to be rich, right? So unfortunately, with a lot of super wealthy people, let's just use some rough numbers. Let's say you have a multi-million-dollar home, or maybe 10 plus million-dollar home, and you drive, a couple of 6-figure cars. Next time you go to the store, if you go to the grocery store, pay attention to the person bagging your groceries, because the harsh reality is, and I actually know someone this has happened to, the person bagging your groceries could pretty soon be purchasing a home 3 times your size and have 7 to 10 more cars in their garage, all because of the power of Bitcoin. And please understand, this isn't a measuring contest, but I'm trying my best to speak to all classes of people, because Bitcoin is going to take over the world, revolutionize the world, revolutionize everything from the banking system to how we know and protect fiat money of our US dollar, and just so much more that's going to go on. Visa and Bank of America and all these companies are starting to already buy into the technology. You just may or may not be knowing about it. And there's just so many things happening. And I want to make sure you don't get left behind. So I'm trying to just think of different ways to motivate different people, because everyone needs to be spoken to a different way. And I know rich people are very competitive. They'd never want anyone to take them down from the castle, right? How bad would it be if, if we go back in medieval times, if the peasants overthrew the kings and queens? Well, I'm telling you, that's happening right now as we speak, whether you realize it or not. Keep that in mind as time progresses. Why is Bitcoin so important? Okay, now I'm going to speak to everyone. So the most important thing about Bitcoin is its scarcity, period. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that's ever going to be mined. But you need to understand that doesn't mean there's 21 million Bitcoin available. Last time I checked, what you can literally put on the books is about 18.2 million Bitcoin. The inventor, Satoshi Nakamoto, has close to 1 million. And unfortunately, there's numerous deaths and horrible things that have happened to where keys were lost. So there's an estimate of a few million that's already been removed. Now, on top of that, something I really haven't heard anybody talk about, there's less than 1 million Bitcoin right now that you can purchase on exchanges. That's it. And I want you to understand how vital that is, what I just said. Because I really want you to try your best to get to 1 Bitcoin. Become what we call a whole coiner. That'll fully change and revolutionize your life. And you ready for this? You know how I said money motivates people? How many of you watching this video would love to be a millionaire, right? There seems to be this stigma of $1 million we put on everything, right? I don't know what it is. It's just a certain number. Ever since, people have been young or a child, they hear this number, and there's some kind of impulse in the brain that goes off, right? Whether it's, oh, $1 million like for a house, oh, that's way too much. Or imagine $1 million for a car or $1 million for a watch, right? You can keep going down the line. But when you hear that number, it kind of sends signals, right? But how many people would love to say they're a millionaire? Like, I'm a millionaire, right? How good would that feel for you to say and to truly mean it? Well, I have news for you. Anyone who's watching this video right now and you already have one whole Bitcoin, congratulations. You're already a millionaire and you just don't even know it yet. And I'm serious. Think about it. I know it's a bold statement, but if you have diamond hands and you're willing to hold your Bitcoin, you're already a millionaire. And I actually want to piggyback off that comment. Most of the people that own Bitcoin, they're not selling it. So when I tell you there's less than 1 million Bitcoin on exchanges, don't think there's just going to be this huge influx down the road so you'll be able to get Bitcoin when you need it. Michael Saylor said it best. You're going to get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. And I really wish there was more people talking about this, because there's going to be a lot of people that's going to get left behind. Thank God for YouTube, and thank God for the YouTube creators who are talking about Bitcoin and trying to wake people up to what's going on. But I know a lot of people don't talk about the value and the importance of having one whole Bitcoin. I know when I talk to people, close people, family and friends, I'm always trying to make a point. Try to at least get one Bitcoin. Grab one. If I'm speaking to someone in a third world country, I understand that's insanely difficult, if not impossible. But I appreciate your effort and I appreciate the grind. And this is something you want to continue to do and work towards. Whether it's 0.1 or 0.2 or whatever you can amass. You don't understand how that's going to change your life and your family's life and your family's future lives for generations. This goes for everybody. Do the best you can. But you know what's going to happen? I mean, Bitcoin's already pricing people out, but it's going to continue to price people out at any wealth level. You can have 30 or 50 million just sitting in the bank, ready to invest somewhere. If you wait till you're comfortable, if you wait until Bitcoin seems to be the preferred asset, you're going to spend millions of dollars trying to get that Bitcoin. And most wealthy people don't have just that much fiat sitting, because theoretically that's silly, that's dumb, right? Why would you do that? Inflation is killing it. So let's be realistic. Most of these super wealthy people have most of their money tied up in real estate and other type of investments like that. So what's going to happen? They're going to wait till they get comfortable. They feel good. They see, it's kind of like follow the leader, right? Oh, I want to wait till all my wealthy friends are buying Bitcoin, then I'm going to jump in. Well, what are you going to do at that point? You're going to start selling off real estate, have all these huge tax burdens that you have to deal with to buy a Bitcoin. I have a bad feeling this is going to be like a horrendous storm on people. There's going to be so many people looking back on this video or looking back on Bitcoin in general in such regret and disgust, because they didn't take a chance to purchase a Bitcoin when they could. Speaking back to the beginners or the people that want a new chance at life, this is it for you. This is your chance. Whether it is something you did wrong in life, a mistake you made. I know I talked about this in other past videos, but it's so true. This is your chance to right your wrongs. This is your chance to start fresh. This is your chance to hit that reset button that's not supposed to exist in life. This is your chance. But I'm telling you that window's closing quickly. It is. Because once the halving hits next year, the price is going to start going up. We're going to start to creep up to 6 figures and then probably head up past that after. So it's vital you get your Bitcoin while you can. You start dollar cost averaging in. Whatever you're doing in your IRAs, a couple of $100 every 2 weeks, you should be doing that in your digital investments as well. I want to tell you a story. I once heard someone say this, and this stuck with me for pretty much obviously my whole life, but this story's recently changed. But I want to say it because it's going to make an important point on the power of Bitcoin. So whatever room you're in right now, or whoever I'm speaking to, I'm going to ask you a question, right? Similar to Jigsaw, right? Hello, everyone. I would like to play a game. So, who is the richest person in the room? Whether you're in a business setting, in the comfort of your own home, maybe you're watching this at a school or something, wherever, who's the richest person in the room? This is a fun game to play. People start kind of looking around. They're not quite sure. People that are very wealthy kind of feel sometimes a little embarrassed and timid. And unfortunately, everyone's missing the point. You ready for this? And it doesn't matter. I don't care which room you're in. I don't even have to know who's sitting next to you. The richest person in the room is the youngest person. Always. So for all you young people out there watching this video, congratulations. Now let me explain why. Because the most valuable asset on this planet is time. Even more valuable than Bitcoin. Because we cannot get any more time back. Ever. Theoretically, the youngest person has the most time to use compounded interest and smart investment tactics. And again, this is presuming they did everything right. They could easily surpass anyone that's older than them. Now, why that necessarily isn't the case moving forward with Bitcoin? See, Bitcoin has equaled the field. I'm sure those of you that are somewhat stock savvy know compounding interest, right? And what Warren Buffett always talked about. How if you're in your 20s and you just sock a little bit of money away and you leave it alone and you let it grow, when you turn 65, it's multi-millions of dollars. But if you start to do this in your 30s, you kind of have to add almost another zero. So people in their 20s could maybe do 100. People in their 30s do 1,000. People in their 40s, more like 5 to 10,000, just depending on that, how many millions you want at age 65. The reason for that is time, because the younger people have more time for their money to grow and compound. Well, Bitcoin is going to level this field. It already has. I'm trying hard to draw the correlation here because I need to make sure you paying attention to what I'm saying and you staying along. You see, when markets dip, let's use Exxon, for example. 5 years ago, if Exxon was $80, and then last year it shot up to 120, and then this year it fell back down to $80. If you a long-term believer in Exxon and you have conviction in it, then you bought those 5 years back if you purchased it today at $80. And again, this is a rough example. I haven't looked at the price of Exxon, so don't quote me on this. But I'm making a point. I don't have necessarily that conviction in Exxon, but I do have that conviction in Bitcoin. And don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Bitcoin's never going back down to $10 or $1,000 or even $10,000. That's never happening again. So don't think I'm telling you to wait for these huge dips and buy in. I mean, of course, if you see that, by all means, yes. But the problem is, if you go back and look at the halving cycles, Bitcoin's never made a lower low, ever. So don't expect those huge dips to come back down to where you're going to get it on sale again. The next halving cycle, Bitcoin's going to shoot up over 6 figures. And sure, it's going to dip back down, but it's never going to dip back down to the numbers you're seeing now, ever. And let me go ahead and lead up to what I know everybody's been waiting for. When is one Bitcoin going to be worth $1 million? Next halving cycle, I'm estimating somewhere between 130 to 150,000, probably more towards the end of next year. Because you have to remember, BlackRock and the ETFs are going to be approved probably early next year would be my guesstimate right now. That's going to create a lot of fuel and fire as we lead up to the halving. And then as the fall hits of next year, you're going to start to see some serious price movement. It's going to be happening all through next year, but you're going to really start to see that huge, massive gain, the parabolic shift, as we say. And then 4 more years from next year, so all the way out to 2028, that's going to be another halving cycle. And that's the time where we're going to start to get close to 7 figures. So I would say in about 6 years, give or take, that's my comfortable estimate. And I'm even sandbagging these numbers a little bit as well. But keep in mind, I don't have a crystal ball, and things can still happen, but it will never affect Bitcoin long term. But there's things in the immediate future that could happen that could slow down things a bit. Like, God forbid, World War III, or another COVID outbreak, or something tragic we don't even know about yet. Things like that can definitely hinder the price. But if you have conviction and you start to see what I see, you really need to try to do what you can to secure one whole Bitcoin. It will change your life. Your children will thank you for it. And you're going to have a solid asset that you can build upon for a brighter future. The same way that wealthy people do today. Every wealthy person you look at, they have some huge or multiple powerful assets backing them. Bitcoin is going to be that asset for you moving forward. I really hope you gained a bunch of value from this video. Please do me a favor and smash up the like button so we can get this video out to more people. Subscribe to my channel so you can continue to stay in the loop and the know as to what's going on with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much for staying till the end. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out these latest videos to help you on your crypto journey.